Hello and welcome to the Empress podcast. I am your host, Jessica, known in the online space as Jess the Empress. I started this podcast to help you be present with yourself, cope with chaos, and simplify your life. I do this by combining psychology, behavioral science, and the tarot. I have a background in mental health, specifically a master's in clinical social work from USC, and I'm a professional tarot reader. So get ready to have a nurturing, creative, and empowering experience with me as we use practical magic. Hey there, coffee lovers. Are you tired of settling for boring coffee? I have a treat for you. Today's episode is brought to you by Heartwork Coffee Bar, your one-stop destination for exceptional coffee experiences. Whether you're a coffee connoisseur or just someone who appreciates a great cup of joe, Heartwork Coffee Bar is here to elevate your coffee game to new heights. At Heartwork Coffee Bar, they take pride in their craft because each batch is carefully roasted to perfection, ensuring that every sip is a symphony of flavor. From the rich and the robust to the light and fruity, they have a coffee blend for every palate. And here's the best part. For you amazing podcast listeners, Heartwork Coffee Bar is offering an exclusive 10% discount on your purchase. Just use the code Empress10 at checkout and you'll save big on your order. Why settle for ordinary when you can indulge in the extraordinary coffee from Heartwork Coffee Bar? Remember to use code Empress10 for that special 10% discount and treat yourself to the coffee experience that you deserve. Don't miss out on this fantastic offer. Thank you so much for tuning in, and thanks to Heartwork Coffee Bar for making today's episode possible. Now go grab your favorite mug, brew a fresh cup, and enjoy the podcast with the perfect companion, Heartwork Coffee Bar. Cheers. Hey love, before we get to today's episode, I want to ask you to rate and review my podcast. Giving me a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts would mean the world to me. I love knowing who's listening and what everyone is getting from the episode, so please take a moment of your time to share your thoughts, and I look forward to reading your reviews soon. Hi. Hello. How are you? Welcome back to the pod. My name is Jess. I am your host for today. We are going to get into November's tarot reading. So I hope everyone had a really good Halloween. I am recording this on Halloween, the day before. The day before I'm going to put it out. Sometimes I record these like a week or two in advance for the month ahead, and then other times I wait to the day. And I mean, if you've been here long enough, you know sometimes I wait until after the first day. All right, so November reading for the collective. All right, we're starting off with the Justice card in the reverse position. The Ten of Wands. The Fool card in the reverse position. And then lastly, the Eight of Pentacles in the reverse position. Where to even begin? I feel for quite a few of us, November is going to feel heavy. November is going to feel hard. And I want you to know that I am here with you. Like, I'm sure I'm going to have my moments of feeling like things are hard as well. And on one hand, I want you to validate, like, things are hard. I think that if you ignore the fact that it is hard for you right now in this cycle or season of your life, and if you try to, gaslight yourself and say, like, it's not that hard, I should be stronger or whatever, that whole game, I think you do yourself a disservice and you don't really bring yourself into harmony with life, even if life is hard right now. And then on the other hand, I still want you to look for the good things and hope and believe in something greater. And I think it's important that we remember that we can do a lot of things at one time, and we can feel a lot of different ways at one time, and we can hold complex thoughts because we're complex people, right? With the Justice card in the reverse position, it's saying that like things are coming to the light, and they might not be pretty things. They might be things that you really wish were not happening. But I want you to go on this thought experiment with me. Justice is like about balance, and it is about, again, a sense of harmony with life. But justice is also about accepting that things are not perfect, because no one is perfect and life isn't perfect. It's just like, that's not the experience that we're here for. And if you keep expecting everything to be perfect, then you're expecting everything to be just and good and whole and moral and right. And it's very disappointing and heartbreaking when things aren't. But I think there can be a cycle that you're unnecessarily stuck in when you keep expecting perfection, whether it's from yourself, other people, the world at large, whatever, right? We can go micro on this one or macro. It doesn't matter. But I think it's important that we all check in and kind of say like, whoa, yeah, there's some things that I don't like. And within reason, where is my scope of influence and what can I really control? We look at that in the Ten of Wands. The Ten of Wands is a person who's choosing to take these wands on themselves, right? They're choosing to use their life force energy to move in a way that's different than other people. Because if we look at the Suit of Wands, we could have a lighter movement. Like in the Five of Wands, it could be a lot more fun and playful. Then it slowly progresses into like being a burden. And I think that a lot of responsibility can be hard, and it is a burden, like for sure. But at the same time, like if we're not taking accountability for what we're taking on, then we can move into it being toxic accountability, which is something where you make it about you. You make it about something you can control, when in reality you can't control it. You make it like, oh, I should have been able to influence this. I should have been able to do this, that, and the other. When in reality, that's never your responsibility anyway. So the Ten of Wands tells me like we are reckoning the accountability we're taking on, and we are bringing ourselves into balance. And the weight of it might still be quite a bit. Maybe you are in the position of making choices for people, and those are tough choices. And what I mean by that is kids or loved ones who are not capable of making choices for themselves quite yet. That has an impact. You know, I know a lot of my clients are going through breakups and divorces and things like that, and they just have a lot of weight on their hearts about with their kids, you know, and what's the impact that this is going to do with their kids. And I wish I could have prevented this, and like all the things, the stories, right? And I think that we need to remember, like, we're all in motion and no one is perfect, and we're going to make mistakes, but it's about how are we accountable for those mistakes when the future time comes that we need to be accountable for them, because we don't necessarily know we're making a mistake in the moment. That's just not life. You know, again, that would be perfect. No, we'd all be perfect because we wouldn't make the mistakes. We wouldn't actively choose to fuck up, you know? So just like do the best you can with what you have. That's what I'm saying, you know, and be very purposeful and intentional about what you focus on this month, because I think it can have like a real quick way of getting out of hand. And I want you to focus on, again, like, how are you continuing to be in harmony, with life? The Fool and the Eight of Pentacles in the reverse position, you're gonna have to work for this change this month, you know, like it's not gonna come easy. And I also think with like it being so close to the holiday season, we have a lot of cyclical energy that lives within us, and holidays can bring up a lot of different emotions in people for a lot of different reasons. So I'm just going to say, be compassionate with yourself. And again, if certain truths come up about you, if certain injustices are uncovered about, again, the way someone is treating you, the way you're treating yourself, decide what you want to do about that and what you can really do about it. Again, within control, within influence, okay? And that's what you're going to take action on. The Fool in the reverse position, it's giving like the change is something that is either you're newly initiated into, or you're still holding on to the past and you don't want to change. This is such a call out, and I'm sorry if it stings, but I'm just saying what I'm seeing. The Fool in the reverse position can be when there's, again, that resistance to change, or there is a jadedness and a cynicism that is, it's a choice. Like it's a choice that you're making as a way to protect yourself from having to do more work and to actually go through the change. But remember, if you're telling yourself the worst case scenario, that's just a story you're telling yourself, okay? You can figure things out and you're very capable. The lesson of the Fool is that sometimes believing in something greater, as irrational or as silly as it might seem, as foolish as it might seem, is the very medicine that's necessary, for your growth and for your expansion. And sometimes we learn, like, I think the Fool is like a funny card, like in the sense that sometimes it pops up in a reading and it's like, oh yeah, you actually trusted too soon. You're silly. Like, but did you live? Yeah. Did you learn? Yeah. Okay, great. Let's move on. And then the Fool can also just be this invitation to be the silly person that stop trying to figure everything out and stop trying to control every outcome and just like let yourself live and learn. And that's it. It's so simple, but I think that's the essence of the Fool. If you're trying to get it perfect, it means like you think you've stopped growing. You think you've learned everything. There's something going on underneath the surface that's like, again, a control tactic. And for what? Like, if you just let yourself live, you will grow. That's the beauty of it, because it's an organic thing that happens. It doesn't have to be always so forced. I think life will come and just do what it does, move us along. And we get to decide, what do we want to do about some of the things that we can, again, influence and control. But the Eight of Pentacles in the reverse position is like, you have to buckle down, baby. Okay, I talk a lot about this with my clients when it comes to like doing the things that we need to do. A lot of my clients, and I've done this and I still sometimes will do it, is try to like lean a little too heavy on motivation, okay? Which we know motivation is fleeting. It doesn't last for forever. And so we have to increase our sense of discipline, okay? We need to rethink what it is that we're doing. We need to rethink how we're doing it. And that's the strategy that we have to follow. So there's a lot of shifting that happens, and that is part of the work. And the Eight of Pentacles is like, you can't be lazy about this. You can't be lazy mentally. You can't be lazy emotionally. You're going to have to do hard things in life. And if you want change, sometimes you just got to earn it, like you got to work for it. And that can feel very, I don't know, for some people, they can feel like almost insulted, or like that it's just a message that they don't want to hear. And it's a message that's not well received. But I don't need you to receive this message well. I need you to just listen and search yourself and hear if there's any truth in this right now. Because the Eight of Pentacles is saying like, you have to descend a little in order to ascend. I always think about this with Pentacles in the inverted position, like really going heavy on the material plane, because there's nothing wrong with that. There's no judgment about which space you want to occupy more of, I think, as long as it's not harming people around you, and yourself. But the Fool and the Eight of Pentacles, it's like you need to understand the root of your cynicism. You need to understand the root of your lack of trust in yourself and the universe, because you're no different than the universe. We see that in the Fool. There's no disconnection. It's a perfect circle. The zero, the Fool. And so with this is our connectedness to the universe and the world around us, right? And it's like, there is no separation. So if you lack a sense of trust in yourself, you are then lacking a sense of trust in the universe. And all that requires is your exploration to understand where that came from and how that's impacting you, and whether or not you want to continue moving in that direction. We're just kind of observing here. But the Eight of Pentacles tells me that after you've answered some of those questions, you come up a little lighter and you come up with a little bit more of a restored sense of yourself. And that, I think, pushes you into taking the action that you need to take, whether it comes through feeling temporarily motivated or you needing to like look yourself in the eye pep talk yourself, get on the phone with your friend, have her cheerlead you, whatever. I mean, I do this a lot with my clients where it's like, okay, look, I'm calling you out. I love you. And like you can be doing the best you can, but you can also be doing better. Those two things can exist in the same place. That might seem complex, but when we look at the facts, like that's what's going on sometimes, a lot of the time, right? So what do you need to put in place in order to do better? And like, you recognizing that you can do better is not to shame the fact that you're like, that you could be doing better, if that makes any sense. Like there's no shame involved. Like you don't have to feel bad because you recognize like, oh, I could be doing better in this area. Sometimes that can be like a very empowering place to be. And then I think it becomes even more empowering once you drop the cynicism and you move into the full power of the situation, which is that this is something you can control. Like there's a sense of influence that you have on the direction of your life. And now that you've identified it, you get to take that action. And so, sometimes we get scared of our power. And I think that this month, it's not something that we can continue ignoring our power. And there's a lot of power in our actions and in what we choose to focus on. Because when you start focusing on what you can influence and when you start focusing on what you can control, you become an incredibly magnetic person. Because people are like, wow, this person isn't so scattered all over the place and so stressed out and chaotic and whatever. They have a very calm sense of themselves. And that's a beautiful thing. And I tell my clients all the time, you have to get busy with your dreams because like no one else is going to do it for you. And the Eight of Pentacles in the reverse position is saying like, where do you need to continue stepping up? As uncomfortable as it is, as hard as it is, no one is going to rescue you and you are responsible for figuring it out. This is all the accountability that you need to take on yourself. And yes, I know it can suck. And yes, I know you might want someone to come and rescue you. I fully understand that. But it won't happen. It's you against you. And I want you to have what you want. Like I want you to take the action that you are very capable of taking, even when you're scared. This month just feels like a month of reclaiming your power. And I think it comes in a way that might be kind of harsh. It might sting and it might hurt. But you survive. And I think you actually thrive on the other end of it as long as you're keeping it real with yourself, right? And as long as you are, as long as you're just diving into your own mind and like doing the actual reflective work, I think you're going to be okay. And I just want to say, when it comes to releasing the things that you can't control, sometimes a ceremony can be really helpful around that. And if that's your thing, I would highly recommend you like double down on a releasing ceremony. It can be, again, like so refreshing. And if ceremonies really like aren't your vibe, no big deal. I feel like acknowledging it within yourself that you are continuing to release this to the universe. For example, a story pops up in your mind and the root of it is something you can't control. The moment you recognize that you are getting distracted with that thought, take a breath and surrender it and say like, I'm letting that thought go. I'm letting what I can't control go, and I'm going to choose to now think about and then insert something to think about. Be intentional. This is how you sharpen your mind. This is how you strengthen your discernment and your mental fortitude. Is just operating within the realm of what you can control and surrendering the rest. And it's hard. It is hard, but it's not impossible. And you can do hard things. You really can. And you might feel the weight of that. And like in the midst of all of this, I want you to find a few minutes for yourself to just put your hand over your heart and your hand over your stomach and just be, just exist and just kind of praise yourself for the work that you've been doing and sink a little deeper into you and into whatever you need and into kindness and into compassion. With so much going on you absolutely deserve those moments that you give it to yourself. You don't have to earn it. You deserve it, right? Life is crazy wild. Crazy wild. And you're doing the best you can. And sometimes, you got to do a little bit better, and you can do better. I believe in you. I know you can do it. If you need help, of course, like, hit me up. We'll set up a session and we'll like work through it together. But I want to see you feeling good and being happy. Okay. I love you. Have a great November. Okay. Bye.